Why does something that once felt automatic begin to feel unreliable? Most men don't have a single moment where everything suddenly changes. There's no clear warning, no announcement, just a growing awareness that the body doesn't respond with the same firmness, consistency, or confidence it once did. And when that realization appears, it often brings more confusion than answers. After 40, many men quietly notice that erections don't feel as strong or as dependable. Not gone, not broken, just different. And because no one ever talked about this openly, most men are left to fill in the blanks on their own. The first instinct is usually self-blame. Maybe it's stress. Maybe it's age. Maybe it's something I did wrong. But here's the part no one warns you about. What you're experiencing isn't a failure. It's a shift. And when that shift isn't understood, it creates frustration, anxiety, and silence. One of the most painful aspects of weaker erections after 40 isn't physical at all. It's emotional. Confidence takes a hit. Self-trust wavers. Moments that once felt natural start to feel mentally loaded. That pressure alone can make things feel even more inconsistent. And the cycle feeds itself. The more a man worries, the more tension builds. The more tension builds, the harder it becomes for the body to respond naturally. Over time, this can make a temporary change feel like a permanent problem. What makes this harder is how little accurate information is shared. Most conversations jump straight to extremes or quick fixes, without explaining what's actually happening inside the body as men age. So let's slow this down. After 40, several natural processes change at the same time. Blood vessels become less elastic. Stress hormones stay elevated longer. Recovery takes more time. Sleep becomes lighter. None of these changes are dramatic on their own, but together they affect circulation. And circulation plays a major role in firmness and responsiveness. This doesn't mean desire disappears. It means the delivery system becomes less efficient. And that difference matters. Many men try to compensate by forcing outcomes, mentally or physically. But the body doesn't respond well to force, especially as it gets older. It responds to signals of safety, relaxation, and balance. When those signals are missing, the body stays guarded. This is why erections after 40 often feel unpredictable rather than completely absent. Some days are better than others. Some moments feel normal, others don't. And that inconsistency is what frustrates men the most, because inconsistency creates doubt, and doubt creates tension. Most men never connect these dots. They assume the issue is isolated when in reality it's part of a larger system that includes circulation, stress response, and internal chemistry. This is where identification begins. If you're a man over 40 who's noticed that erections don't feel as firm or as reliable as they once did, you're not alone. In fact, this is one of the most searched concerns among men in this age group, even though almost no one talks about it out loud. Men who feel this way are often still healthy, active, and engaged in life. They don't feel old, they just feel off. And that disconnect between how they feel mentally and how their body responds physically can be deeply unsettling. It's not about performance, it's about confidence. It's about trust in your own body. What many men don't realize is that this experience is often linked to a gradual decline in nitric oxide, a molecule the body uses to help blood vessels relax and allow healthy blood flow. Nitric oxide plays a key role in circulation, and circulation is essential for firmness. As men age, the body produces less nitric oxide naturally. Add stress, poor sleep, and modern lifestyles, and the decline becomes more noticeable. Again, this isn't a failure. It's physiology. Understanding this changes everything, because when you understand the mechanism, the problem stops feeling personal. It stops feeling like something to hide, and it starts feeling like something you can approach calmly and intelligently. This is why so many men over 40 are now searching for information about nitric oxide support and the so-called salt trick. Not because they're desperate, but because they want to understand why things feel different and what actually supports the body at this stage of life. The salt trick isn't about forcing results. It's about supporting the body's natural nitric oxide pathways using specific nutrients and minerals that play a role in circulation. When those pathways are supported, the body often responds with more ease. Products like Nitric Boost are introduced within this context, not as a promise, but as an option designed to support nitric oxide production as part of a broader, thoughtful routine. The most important thing is awareness. Once men understand why erections feel weaker after 40, the fear begins to fade. And when fear fades, tension decreases. And when tension decreases, the body often responds more naturally. If this topic resonates with you, learning more about how the salt trick works and how Nitric Boost fits into that explanation can be a useful next step. Not as a commitment, simply as education. because clarity is often the first real solution. What many men don't talk about is how deeply this change affects them long before they ever say a word out loud. It's not just about the physical response, it's the internal dialogue that starts to form. The second guessing, the quiet worry before intimacy, the way the mind starts to interfere with moments that used to feel effortless. A lot of men describe it the same way. I'm still me, but my body doesn't always follow. That disconnect can be unsettling. And because men are rarely encouraged to talk openly about these changes, they often carry the weight alone. They keep functioning, they keep showing up. But inside, there's a sense of uncertainty they didn't expect to feel at this stage of life. What's important to understand is that this experience is incredibly common. Men over 40 from all walks of life report the same pattern: strong relationships, active lifestyles, no major health issues. Yet erections feel weaker, less consistent, or harder to maintain than they used to be. That's why so many men turn to late-night searches instead of conversations. They're not looking for hype. They're not looking for shortcuts. They're looking for reassurance and understanding. They want to know they're not broken. They want to know why this is happening. And most importantly, they want to know if there's a calm, realistic way to support their body without adding pressure or shame. When men begin to understand that this shift is tied to circulation and internal chemistry, not masculinity or desire, something changes emotionally. The self-blame starts to ease, the tension loosens, and that mental relief alone can make a difference. Because erections don't exist in isolation, they are influenced by the nervous system, stress levels, confidence, and blood flow. When the mind is tense, the body stays guarded. When the body stays guarded, responsiveness becomes inconsistent. That's why identification is such a powerful part of this process. When men hear, "This is normal after 40 and it has a physiological explanation," the fear softens. And when fear softens, the body becomes more receptive to support. This is where the conversation naturally shifts toward nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is one of the body's key messengers for healthy circulation. It helps signal blood vessels to relax and widen, allowing blood to flow more freely. This process plays a central role in firmness and responsiveness. Over time, however, the body's ability to produce nitric oxide declines. That decline doesn't happen overnight. It happens quietly, year by year. And because no one explains it, most men only notice the effects, not the cause. The idea behind the salt trick is to address this mechanism gently. Certain minerals and nutrients are known to support nitric oxide pathways in the body. When combined intentionally, they may help the body maintain better circulation without forcing a response. This approach resonates with men over 40 because it feels logical. It doesn't fight the body, it supports it. Nitric boost is often mentioned in this context because it's designed around this exact idea, supporting nitric oxide production as part of a daily routine, not as a guarantee, not as a dramatic fix, but as an option men can evaluate when they want to support circulation more intentionally. And intention matters. Men who approach this with curiosity rather than urgency tend to have a better experience overall. They pay attention to how their body responds over time. They reduce pressure. They stay consistent instead of chasing immediate change. That consistency creates trust, and trust is essential for confidence. If you're someone who's noticed weaker erections after 40 and felt unsure about what it means, know this. You're not behind, and you're not alone. You're simply at a stage where the body asks for a different kind of support. Learning about the salt trick and how nitric boost is designed to work can be a helpful way to understand that support more clearly. There's a short presentation that explains the mechanism in simple terms, without hype or pressure, so you can decide what makes sense for you. No commitments, no promises, just information. Sometimes the biggest shift happens when you stop wondering what's wrong and start understanding what's changed. And that understanding is often the first step toward feeling more at ease in your own body again.